Welcome to History Explained, where we illuminate the past to better understand our present. I'm your guide to your daily journey through the past to empower the future. Today is Thursday, July 17, 2025. As we do every Thursday, we're exploring a fascinating cultural practice that has profoundly influenced human civilization. Today, we turn our attention to coffeehouse culture, a social phenomenon that emerged in the Ottoman Empire and spread throughout Europe and beyond, fundamentally transforming how people gather, discuss ideas, and conduct business. These establishments became known as penny universities for their role in democratizing access to information and intellectual discourse. What makes coffeehouse culture particularly remarkable is how it created new spaces for social interaction that transcended traditional class boundaries while fostering the exchange of ideas, news, and culture. From their origins in 16th century Constantinople to modern-day cafés, these gathering places have consistently served as catalysts for social change and intellectual development. So let's explore this influential cultural institution, examining its origins in the Islamic world, its transformative impact on European society, its role in political movements and business development, and its continuing evolution in our interconnected world. The story of coffeehouse culture begins with the discovery and cultivation of coffee in Ethiopia, though the beverage's transformation into a social institution occurred in the Ottoman Empire during the 16th century. Ottoman merchants and travelers encountered coffee in Yemen and brought it back to Constantinople, where it quickly became popular among the elite. The first coffee houses opened in Constantinople around 1540, creating entirely new social spaces where men could gather to drink coffee, play games, listen to music, and engage in conversation. These establishments differed fundamentally from taverns, as they served a stimulating rather than intoxicating beverage, encouraging lively discussion rather than drowsy stupor. Coffee houses spread rapidly throughout the Ottoman Empire, reaching major cities like Damascus, Cairo, and Baghdad within decades. Each establishment developed its own character, with some specializing in poetry readings, others in political discussion, and still others in commercial negotiations. The Ottoman authorities initially viewed coffee houses with suspicion, sometimes attempting to ban them due to concerns about political sedition and social disorder. However, the institutions proved too popular and economically valuable to suppress permanently, and they became integral parts of urban life throughout the Islamic world. European travelers to the Ottoman Empire encountered coffee houses during the 17th century and brought both the beverage and the institution back to their home countries. Venice was among the first European cities to embrace coffee, with merchants recognizing its commercial potential and social utility. London's first coffeehouse opened in 1652, and within decades the city hosted hundreds of these establishments. English coffee houses developed distinctive characteristics, becoming centers for news dissemination, business transactions, and intellectual debate that earned them the nickname penny universities. Each London coffeehouse attracted particular clientele and specialized in specific types of information or business. Lloyds Coffee House became the center of maritime insurance, eventually evolving into the famous Lloyds of London insurance market. Jonathan's Coffee House served as an early stock exchange, while others catered to scientists, writers, or political activists. The coffee house culture fundamentally altered how information circulated in European society. Before their emergence, news traveled slowly through official channels or private correspondence. Coffee houses created rapid networks for sharing information, rumors, and opinions that connected local communities to national and international events. Newspapers found natural homes in coffee houses, where proprietors subscribed to multiple publications and made them freely available to customers. This practice democratized access to information, allowing working people to stay informed about politics, trade, and current events for the price of a cup of coffee. Political discourse flourished in coffeehouse environments, where men from different social classes could engage in relatively egalitarian discussion. While formal political participation remained limited to property owners, coffeehouses provided forums where public opinion could form and influence policy debates. The Enlightenment found fertile ground in European coffeehouses, where philosophers, scientists, and writers gathered to exchange ideas and challenge conventional wisdom. Voltaire, Rousseau, and other prominent thinkers frequented Parisian cafés, using these spaces to develop and disseminate their revolutionary ideas. Scientific societies often met in coffeehouses, with the Royal Society of London regularly gathering at Garraway's Coffee House to discuss experiments and discoveries. These meetings helped establish the practices of peer review and collaborative research that characterize modern scientific inquiry. Literary culture also flourished in coffeehouse environments. Writers like Alexander Pope and Samuel Johnson held court in London establishments, while aspiring authors could find audiences for their work and patrons for their projects. Coffeehouses served as informal literary salons where reputations were made and broken. The economic impact of coffeehouse culture extended far beyond the establishments themselves. These venues facilitated business networking, contract negotiations, and market information sharing that accelerated commercial development. Many successful business partnerships and trading relationships began with conversations over coffee. Insurance markets, stock exchanges, and banking networks all emerged from coffeehouse cultures, demonstrating how social institutions can evolve into formal economic structures. The transition from informal gathering places to organized markets illustrates the entrepreneurial energy that coffeehouses fostered. Women were generally excluded from traditional coffeehouses, leading to the development of alternative social spaces like tea houses and salons where women could engage in intellectual discourse. This exclusion reflected broader gender restrictions in public life while also spurring the creation of parallel institutions. The French salon culture that emerged in the 17th and 18th centuries provided women with opportunities to host intellectual gatherings in private homes, often featuring coffee or tea service. These salons became influential centers of literary and political culture, demonstrating how coffeehouse principles could adapt to different social contexts. Revolutionary movements frequently used coffeehouses as meeting places and organizing centers. The American Revolution saw extensive use of coffeehouses for political planning, while the French Revolution's early phases involved significant coffeehouse activity as revolutionaries debated political theory and strategy. The Boston Tea Party and subsequent American preference for coffee over tea reflected both practical and symbolic considerations, with coffeehouses becoming centers of patriotic sentiment and anti-British organizing. This shift helped establish coffee as America's preferred beverage while linking coffee culture to democratic ideals. The Industrial Revolution transformed coffeehouse culture as urbanization created larger, more diverse populations seeking social connection and information. Railway stations, commercial districts, and factory towns all developed coffeehouse cultures adapted to their specific needs and schedules. Technological innovations like the telegraph and improved printing presses enhanced coffeehouses' roles as information centers, allowing proprietors to offer more current news and broader coverage of national and international events. These improvements attracted larger and more diverse clienteles. The 20th century brought new challenges and opportunities for coffeehouse culture. Two world wars disrupted traditional patterns while rationing made coffee expensive and scarce. However, the post-war period saw renewed growth as prosperity increased and leisure time expanded. The emergence of coffeehouse chains in the late 20th century represented both continuity and change in coffee culture. While maintaining the basic concept of social gathering over coffee, these establishments often prioritized efficiency and standardization over the intimate, community-focused atmosphere of traditional coffeehouses. Italian espresso culture introduced new beverage preparations and consumption patterns that influenced coffee culture worldwide. The Italian bar, with its emphasis on quick consumption and social interaction, provided an alternative model to the leisurely, contemplative atmosphere of traditional coffeehouses. The third-wave coffee movement of the early 21st century emphasized artisanal preparation, single-origin beans, and appreciation for coffee as a craft beverage. This development reconnected modern coffee culture with earlier traditions of quality and community while incorporating contemporary concerns about sustainability and fair trade. Digital technology has both challenged and enhanced contemporary coffeehouse culture. While laptops and smartphones can isolate individuals within shared spaces, they also enable new forms of community building, remote work, and information sharing that echo historical coffeehouse functions. The COVID-19 pandemic severely disrupted traditional coffeehouse operations, forcing rapid adaptation to takeout service, outdoor seating, and digital ordering systems. These changes accelerated existing trends while highlighting coffeehouses' essential roles in community life and social connection. Remote work trends have increased demand for coffeehouses as alternative workspaces, reviving their historical role as centers for professional networking and business development. Modern freelancers and entrepreneurs use coffeehouses much as their predecessors did centuries ago. Contemporary coffee house culture reflects globalization, with establishments worldwide offering international beverage selections while maintaining local cultural characteristics. This blend of global and local elements continues coffeehouses' historical role as bridges between different cultures and communities. Environmental and social consciousness increasingly influence coffeehouse operations, with many establishments emphasizing sustainable sourcing, waste reduction, and community engagement. These concerns reflect broader social movements while maintaining coffee culture's tradition of reflecting contemporary values and concerns. Coffeehouse culture continues evolving as social needs and technologies change, but its fundamental purpose remains constant, providing spaces where people can gather, connect, and engage with ideas and each other. This enduring appeal suggests that coffee houses fulfill basic human needs for community and intellectual stimulation. The historical development of coffeehouse culture illustrates how simple innovations, in this case, a new beverage and social space, can have far-reaching cultural, economic, and political consequences. These institutions demonstrate the power of informal social networks to influence formal structures and processes. Modern coffee culture's global reach reflects both the success of this social innovation and the universal appeal of gathering over shared beverages to discuss ideas, conduct business, and build relationships. From its origins in Ottoman Constantinople to contemporary cafés worldwide, coffeehouse culture continues adapting while maintaining its essential character. Coffeehouse culture stands as a testament to humanity's need for social connection and intellectual exchange, demonstrating how simple pleasures like sharing a beverage can create powerful institutions that shape society, economy, and culture across centuries and continents. Thank you for joining us for this exploration of coffeehouse culture. Tomorrow, we'll be back with our Economic Milestones episode examining the rise of capitalism and its transformation of global economic systems. If you enjoyed this journey through history, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell. What aspects of coffeehouse culture do you find most relevant to understanding modern social spaces and community building? Let us know in the comments below.